preparing the food for her brother, for us here, the community. Lord, thank you for Sister Alice. May you bless her family, her brother, his health, and all of her husband's health, Lord, and for all their good wishes that they're wishing upon us. Lord, we just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for all you do for us. Lord, we just want to say, may you decrease me and increase you. Let this teaching be all of you and none of me. In Jesus' name, amen. Open in your Bibles to Matthew chapter 20. Why is it loud in here today? Out here.
Big truck.
Yeah, all these. We don't want to be traffic. It's traffic. Matthew chapter 20. Last week, we seen the rich young ruler. You weren't here.
No, I read Matthew already.
It doesn't mean nothing. You read it, it's not the same. Where were you anyway?
I had some business to do with my neighbor. We went to the Salvation Army.
Okay.
We were at the church.
All right. From now, I expect a phone call because I get worried. All right, because you're on it. You're not like some others. Anyway, last time we see the rich young ruler. Meaning he was like a prince. He had everything. He was young. He was handsome. He was rich. He had money. He had everything going for him. Who had it all. He wanted to make sure he was going to heaven, because you see, he was keeping the law, and also they had the conceived notion at the time: if you were rich, you were going to heaven. Okay. So he asked Jesus, "How do I enter heaven? What do I gotta do?" So Jesus gives him the whole portion of the law, the 10 Commandments, the last 6 of them, basically, which deals with one another. Okay, the portion of the law deals with one another, and then, so he's like, with a big old smile, he said, "I got that covered. I do that all day. I take care of my neighbor. I take care of this. I keep everything you're telling me. I do." Already, so he's like, oh, very happy. He says, "Is there anything else I gotta do? Are you sure?" But the first four of the 10 Commandments deals with God. Okay, the first four deals with God, and Jesus, knowing, okay, Jesus wanted to know who his God was, because he knew something in his heart wasn't right. That's why he was asking this question. So Jesus wanted to know who his God was. Very important. Was it the Father in heaven? Or was it his money, his wealth on earth? See, Jesus in no other places told anybody to sell everything off, ever. Because a lot of people go, oh, Jesus is, what is he, socialist? He doesn't want people to get rich? No. In this particular case, this case-by-case scenario, this man was rich and he was doing everything right. He thought that, okay, was that good enough? And Jesus wanted to know, okay, he wanted to test him. And that's when he said, sell everything, give it to the poor and follow me. That's what he said. I don't know. So he was kind of hard for him to let go of his possessions, you see, because his money, his possessions was his God. That was more important for him, his prestige, his place of his, where he is, He's a nobleman, right? So that was very important for him. He didn't want to let that go. Not that Jesus was just going to see if he's going to do that or not. Because remember, Peter, John, Matthew, they all had businesses. Especially Matthew. Peter had a big fishing business, and all these guys left everything and followed Jesus. They didn't question it. They didn't have a second guess it. Right away, they followed. Yeah, he got it. And then, in this case, he wanted to see if this man is willing to give up his riches and follow him. But of course, the guy said, yeah, I don't know about that. And he walked away sad. So then Jesus said, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle, all right, than for a rich person to enter heaven, which is kind of contradicting with that time, because as I said, rich people automatically would assume that they were going to heaven because they were blessed. Get it? Did you get that from your reading?
Yes, I did.
Sure. So what does the eye of the needle mean?
It means that it's easier for a camel to jump through this than a rich person to go to heaven because they don't want to give up what they have.
No. Because it says it's hard. It didn't say impossible. it's impossible for a camel to go through a needle, right? If you're talking about the regular sewing needle. But that's not what he was talking about. The eye of the needle was speaking about Jesus. The city of Jerusalem had walls and they had gates. 12 gates. The gates were always open in daytime. Traffic was in and out. Camels, people, caravans, whatever. At night they closed the gates when the sun down for security. But there's a little door, it's called Eye of the Needle. In that door, people would still can walk through, but caravans and stuff cannot go. For a camel to go through there, it's hard. It means camel has to come down, they can take everything off of it, push and shove and pull to get a camel through. It's not impossible, but it's doable, but it's hard. That's what Jesus was speaking about. For a rich person to go through, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle, which was talking about the door, not necessarily, than the actual entering to heaven. So he was saying it's hard for rich people to let go of money.
Oh yeah.
And because you see, they become married to the money. If that becomes their God, their life depends on that, and everything else. If they cannot see anything else, their life to survive without it. Okay, so their focus is not God first, money is first. And he was saying, you have to put God first. So he wasn't saying it's impossible for them to go, but it's going to be hard for them to heaven. So that's what that is. So there you go. You didn't get that from the way. Just making sure you got to keep coming every week. So the disciples who heard this, remember, like I said, Peter and the rest of them left everything and followed Jesus. So they go, excuse me, Rabbi, what about us? We left everything and we followed you. What's our reward? What do we get from it? All right? And so that was the case, because Peter's like, man, I left everything. My wife, kids, whatever, they haven't seen me in weeks. I'm following you. So what's the deal with, what do I get from it? So if the rich guy cannot go in, Jesus said, whatever you lose or suffer or give up for my sake on earth, you will be rewarded 100 times. So that is saying anything you give up or lose or suffer in my name's sake, okay, in Jesus' sake, for him you're giving up, for him you're doing this. Then he says you will be rewarded 100 times, not just when you go to heaven, here on earth. And then you get rewarded again in heaven. Very important, so now, okay? Now in chapter 20, he's going to teach them how the kingdom of heaven is like. So he's going to give them a picture of the kingdom of heaven and how the kingdom of heaven operates. Okay? So we're going to go, with that, let's go to verse 1 and 2, please.
So the kingdom of heaven is like a man who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. Now when he had agreed with the laborers for an year's day, he sent them into his vineyard.
Thank you. Back then, the day's wage was 1 denarius. Okay? It was a 1 denarius day wage, which is today's $150. And the day started at 6 a.m. So this landowner, which is a picture of the Father in heaven, God, okay? The landowner goes out to a Home Depot parking lot, and over there's a bunch of men standing around looking for work. They're day laborers. It could be homeless men, it could be, Mexicans or whatever. So they're there. Same concept. They were the same thing over there. They used to stay by the gates of the city. Because people who didn't have regular jobs. So they were day laborers. They were there waiting. Somebody come hire them to work for a day. So this landowner comes and says, hey, would you like to work today? And I will pay you a denarius. Say, yeah. So welcome, go work. Okay? So verses, sister, go ahead. Would you read verses 3 and 5? 3 to 5.
And he went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said to them, you also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right I will give you. So they went. Again, he went out about the 6th and the 9th hour, and did likewise.
Thank you. So now every 3 hours, this landowner keeps going out to the market, hiring more labor because he sees this work is getting, but he needs to get it done, but it's not getting done completely fast enough. So he's hiring more and more. So he goes at 9 a.m. Remember, first guy started at 6 a.m. The second crew starts at 9 a.m. and the third crew starts at noon. So he keeps on going after them and at 3, and then he's going to go again at the 3 o'clock. So he goes at 9 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m. So the day ends at 6. Starts at 6, ends at 6. It's not an 8-hour shift. Okay, just so you know, it's a 12-hour shift. No lunch breaks. All right, let's go to verse, Brother Brett, 6 and 7, please.
And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle and said to them, "Why have you been standing here idle all day?" They said to him, "Because no one hired us." He said to them, "You also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right, you will receive."
Thank you. So 5 p.m., 11th hour is 5 o'clock. I mean, it's only an hour's left. He goes out and he sees more of them standing. He's like, "Why are you guys standing around? Nobody hired us." He says, come on, go to work. Go, hurry up, get in there and finish up some work. Let's get you in there. So now, these people came in what? 5 o'clock to work for about an hour. But you see now, some of them were there from what time? 6 a.m. Some went from them, 9 a.m. Others, noon. Others, 3 p.m. And now we got even some at 5 o'clock. With that, let's go to verse 8 and 9. Brother Bill, you want to read? 8 and 9. Please.
So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came and were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man
Every man a denarius. Thank you.
a denarius.
Thank you. 6 p.m. came along, closing time. So he tells his employees, gather up all the workers, the day wages, they will work today, and start from the last ones that came in to the first one. So in back order, not from the first to last, last to first. Okay. So basically, the 5 o'clock guy showed up first, and then so he paid the last people who were there first and gave them $150, which is a denarius. So he gave them $150. The guy was there at 5 o'clock. Okay? So imagine if you were the guy hired at 6 o'clock in the morning, you see that guy who just was hired at 5 p.m. and he got $150, you're going to go, oh, that's a generous landowner. Nice. We hit the jackpot today. We're going to get paid. We're going to get paid today because not just 150. Remember, this guy... Yeah, they're doing the math. It's like, boy, he just worked an hour, he got 150. That means we're going to get like a lot of money. That's like going to be like a whole month's worth, right? So very excited, right? Let's go to verse, if you don't mind, 10 and 12. 10 to 12, please, sister.
When the first came, they supposed that they would receive more, and they likewise received each of the areas. And when they had received it, they complained against the landlord, saying, "These last men worked only 1 hour and you made them equal to us."
That's it. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Read the 12 one more time.
Saying, "These last men have worked only 1 hour and you made them equal to us, who have borne the burden and the heat of the day."
Okay, now they're complaining because now he paid everybody, and everybody got the same amount of money. Everybody got paid the same way. Everybody got one denarius. Basically, everybody got paid equally, $150 for their daily wage. Now they complain, how come the other guys who came in so late getting paid the same money? They were kind of confused. They're saying, how is it that the guy came so late in the day is getting paid the same amount of money as us who were here from 6 o'clock in the morning and worked the entire time during the heat, during the sun? Hello, sister, sit down. So they were very confused. They're saying, they were very happy. They were so happy. Remember I said earlier, they were so happy when they saw the 5 o'clock guy getting a full denarius, getting $150. They were so happy. So when they started seeing that the 3 o'clock guy getting the same pay, and then they saw the 12 o'clock guy getting the same pay, and then the 9 a.m., and then the 6 a.m. guy comes in, he gets paid. See, they were so happy they went to work, because remember they had no jobs, nobody was hiring them. So they were very excited when somebody hired them. They were very happy when they got to go to work. So when the landlord came and told them come work, they were very happy. So they were very happy they got hired. They were very happy they went to work, and then they were very happy until the time they got paid. How does that work? I mean, you were so happy when you had no job, you got a job. You were so happy when you finished the job, you were getting paid, until the moment you actually got the money in your hand, and now they're complaining. They're saying, how is it that these people are getting paid the same amount of money that we are getting paid also, while we were waiting the whole time? We waited, I mean, we worked from 6 a.m. We worked during the whole hot time. We worked during the heat of the day. We slaved our day, but we got the same amount of pay. Same amount of pay. Same amount of pay. You should know better by now. Verse 13 to 16. Sister, please.
But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a denarius? Take what is yours and go your way. I wish to give to this last man the same as to you. Is it not lawful for me to do what I wish with my own things? Or is your eye evil because I am good? So the last will be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Very good one. Repeat that last sentence one more time so everybody penetrates
Many
that.
are called,
But few are chosen. Thank you, sister. So, this is what happens. They were early hired, they were later hired, or last minute hired. What is this story telling us? What is Jesus trying to communicate with the crowd that was in front of him? Because this particular crowd understands day labor. Even today they understand day labor, for example. But especially that crowd, in that time, most of them were agricultural society. They worked in the fields. So they understood very well, if you don't have a steady job, you're out there waiting for somebody to hire for a day labor. And if you got hired for a day, you're happy because you're going to make some money. So the key was there that they were looking at fairness. So when the time came to pay, they were interfering with the landowner, with the business owner's money. The business owner says, listen, when I told you to work, and I said, you can work for me today, and I'm going to pay you this much. Did you agree, yes or no? Yes. So, why do you care? Why do I pay the other guy? See, listen up, guys, very important. For example, let's make it to today's layman's term. I hire Brett, and I say, Brother Brett, do the sign for me today, and I'm going to give you $10 for X amount of hours. He says, okay. Is that okay? He says, okay. He goes and does it perfectly. The following day, Patrick shows up. And I tell Patrick, you know what? I'm going to give you $20. Would you do it? Patrick says, sure. Now, do I have the right to do that or no? It's my money. I can do it the way I want to, basically. So, because when I told Brett you do it for $10, he said, yeah. And Patrick Scrub is going to do it for $20. Same thing. It's no difference. It's what I made with that person is what it is. It's not how and why. You see, but the thing, they were thinking, but that's not fair. You paid them $20, you pay me $10. Why? But I asked you.
You should agree to it.
Exactly. So these people, they needed to do work. See, this is very important. We understand it. It makes sense. So if the landowner gives them a job, so they're working. When the landowner says, I'm going to give the job for the other person and I'm going to pay him the same amount of money, it doesn't matter how many hours are working. This is what he's paying them. It's his money. It's his will. But you see, all this comes under two things. Fairness versus grace. See, God operates under grace. If God was operating under fairness, guess what? None of us will go to heaven. None of us. None of us will make it. If he was working under fairness, forget about it, we're done. Two different things. God deals with us with grace. Thank you for that. Thank you, Lord. Thank God for that. Because if it was fairness, we will get nothing. None of us will be blessing at all if God is going to look at it as fairness. You know, is it fair? Oh, I think I should be fair with this person. But we're so sinners. We do so much. Then God is going to go, what am I going to weigh that against? So God says, in order for me to take care of you, but this comes to a different story. What he's saying is this. Remember the Jews? They were Christians they were believers of God, God's people, followers of God, God's chosen for, at this time, about 1,500 years. Right? Now, suddenly, with Jesus is opening up the doors for who? Gentiles. Us. What happens is the Jew is going to go, well, that's not fair. We've been followers of God for all these years. For 1,500 years we're following you. We followed the law. We're listening to you. We're doing everything you've been telling us. We've been, for at least 1,000 years, we've been your people. Now these Gentiles who never followed you, who never did anything you said, they come in and boom, you accept them. How is that fair, God? That's what Jesus is trying to prepare them for. So he's preparing these brothers and sisters of the Jews and says, listen, Gentiles going to come in. They're going to go, what do you mean Gentiles going to come in? He said, before they go there, he's letting them know that the Gentiles going to come. It's the same thing. It's God's grace. God's grace is what we see. That's why we're under a new covenant, the covenant of grace. The covenant of grace is what covers us. You see, God comes up with that with Jesus, a new covenant. The Davidian covenant ended, and now we come into the Jesus covenant, which is grace covenant, which means God will deal with us because he's being merciful. No longer under the law, no longer you and I got to do things to establish it. I go another step further. By raise of hands, who's been a born-again Christian for over 20 years? Born again. 1, for 20 years. 2, who's been a born-again Christian for 10 years? 2, who's been a born-again Christian for 5 years? Well, you'd already fit the 10. For 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. You're not yet?
Under 1 year.
Under 1 year. Praise the Lord. Okay. All right. So, these folks in the back with the 20 year, they're going to go, man, I've been following God for 20 years. How come she gets the same liberties, the same everything that I got for following God, going to church, doing everything for 20 years, and she just came in on the wagon and she's already in? Grace. That's what it is. Grace. For example, and even goes one more step further. Remember the last guy, the last hour? The 11th hour guy? You know who that is? You know who that is? You know, that's the person who rejected God all his life. Last minute before he dies, in his deathbed, he says, you know what, Lord, I'm sorry. I believe in you. I accept you. And I want Jesus to be my Lord and my Savior. Guess what? That guy's going to go to heaven. You and I might think, it's not fair. Come on. This was a miserable man all his life. Or woman did all these things, and now last minute he repents. But see, that's grace. Because we never know when we're going to die. That's no guarantees. You don't know what happens. We can get hit by a car and go today. So at least we know in this group we're covered. But let's say somebody comes today and becomes a born-again Christian today and dies today, at least they're covered. That's the point. God says, why do you care who comes in? You worry about you. You're going to come to heaven. That's what I'm working on. Whether you were working with me for 20... The beauty about it, the ones who's been under God's care, few of us for over 20 years, or some of you over 10, or whatever, the longer you are with the Lord, your life on earth, you're already experiencing heaven. You see God's grace, you see God's love, you see God's his patience, his love, all the things that God's given you. You see it while you're here on earth. You experience heaven while you're here. Okay, that's the difference between you and us, and the person who last minute is going to accept. Because at least the sooner we accept, at least we experience what is heaven like before we go, in regardless of our life situation, and then we know at least for sure we're going. The person who's rejecting or not committing, that he's taking a chance. He's working on a very tight rope. That means if he falls the other way, he doesn't know when he's going to die. He hasn't accepted it. He's going to the other side. So, but he got lucky. He accepted it last minute. God's still going to take him. The difference is that he's still going to go to heaven, but he's not going to get the rewards that you and I have in heaven. Also, he hasn't experienced the love and the care. And when we're talking about getting things, you know the love and care I'm talking about. Sister Tina knows. The reason she smiles, the reason she has a purpose to live, the reason she gets up in the morning, goes to work, because she knows she's going to help somebody. She knows that. And that gives her the motive. That gives her the energy. Brother Bill, the same thing. You know, the reason he has to get up in the morning, retired guy doesn't need to get up, you can stay in bed. No, the reason he gets up in the morning because he's got a motivation or something. He wants to go help do somebody. Come here, stand up for the cameras, bring the chairs and everything for Bible study. And then tonight he has another Bible study. Then again on Friday, then again Sunday, then again Monday. So all this because he's got things, and then he has to go home and load them up, upload them and do on the website. And all these things, it's giving him a reason. So that's the joy. It's not just receiving, it's giving. It's more joyful to give than to receive.
God loves the happy giver.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that's the key. So what we're trying to see is here, that the Lord is blessing us. And He's telling them a story so they can understand in layman's term. And He's telling us the same story. Let's not get upset if somebody's becoming a born-again Christian last minute. If somebody accepting Jesus, we just pray for them and hope that they do sooner. But if they didn't, at least they got it. Because if they didn't, they are going to lose it. Today is a special day. Sister Rose is a little late because we were going to talk about it earlier, but you're here. Today is a special day. Today, believe it or not, the Lord is so amazing. Last night I got a phone call, and I'm not done yet, man. Even though we're stopping here, but I'm not done. Last night I got a phone call. I got a phone call from Sister Norika and her husband. He actually on the phone. He sounded like perfect. I said, "How are you?" He says, "Excellent. Thank you for all the prayers." The man is suffering from cancer, went through all the chemo. He's on the phone, he sounds like better than me. And he says, "Thank you for all your prayers. And by the way, are you still doing marriages?" I said, "Yes, of course I am." He says, "Well, I want to ask you something. We have a couple wants to get married. They got to go out of town on Thursday. Can you marry him tomorrow?" I'm like, "Really? I mean, that's short of notice, but fine." Yeah, seriously. Don't I get a week like in advance? I'm like, "Okay, I'll be there." See, the thing is, today was supposed to have been the day. That's what, that came to my mind. Today was Rose and Mike, our brother Michael, you know, who was with the Lord, with his groom, okay? And they were supposed to get married today. Today I was supposed to marry them here. Today was supposed to have been a celebration, but watch, Lord is doing that celebration. Even I am making another marriage commitment to another couple, and approximately your age, by the way, both of them that I'm marrying. They're not even young kids, so they're an older couple. That I'm marrying them today, God's willing. And all that is to fit in the profile, but that's what the Lord was already, but instead He took Mike home early. He just needed to make sure that he was home. You know, sometimes, God knows, we don't know. When we get home, you ask Him, He'll tell you why. Every single one of us, we're going to go, but some of us go early, some of us go later. He knows why. Sometimes He takes them because there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And that's the reason we're talking about today. Jesus has given us all these examples. We all remember, right? When our brother Michael, the last Bible study before the Monday, which Wednesday, and then by Monday he passed. Or he departed, I should say. Sunday he departed. Yeah. No, Monday. He departed Monday.
I was at work.
Right. Yes, it was Monday. Rose, it was Monday. Anyway, but the Wednesday, the last church service, he was sitting right here in the front, the first one. And if you remember, we have it on video, by the way, so it's always going to be there forever. And he said it 3 times. Do you receive it? I receive it.
Can you feel it? I feel it.
Can you feel it? I feel it. Do you feel it? And he was so vocal that day. He so much knew the Lord was already coming together. But he expressed it. He didn't know what he was saying, but something from inside of him was
You know
speaking.
what he told me?
Please.
He never read the Bible.
Right.
Just Catholic. And he never read the Bible. And
Right.
that, but ever since I've been coming
Yes.
to Cody, I didn't understand the Bible.
Yes.
He told me that. one
Yes,
day.
he told me that all the time too. He said, Mr. Jacoby, I just want to say, I never understood the Bible before until I started coming to you, and now I get it. It makes sense to me. I love it. That's the key. See, that's what it is. It's what this purpose is for single souls. We're not doing this for the world. We're doing it for God, for every individual, because He cares for every individual. He loves every single one of you. And what did He say in the last verse there, sister? It says, for many are called, but few are chosen. You see, you know what He's saying? The whole world is called. But why is there only 10 of us here right now? Even though everybody's invited. I never said to nobody not to come. We've told everybody to come. We invite everybody all the time. This place should be 1,000 or 2 or a million people. But there's only 10 today. Why? Because only few are chosen. That's the key. This is what I want you to get from this today. From the message today is that we are chosen, brothers and sisters. There's a reason for us coming here today. You leave work and you come all the way, you take the bus or however you get all the way here. All those steps is because you are driven from inside. You're being called. God is pulling you. He says, go. Don't miss nothing. I'm talking to you. I want you to go. Anyway, so may the Lord bless you. May the Lord protect you. May the Lord shine His face upon you and keep you in His peace. May the Lord bless our brother Michael. And let him shine His big smile that he has upon us today. While he is hanging next to Jesus, holding in his hand, is going, Jesus, those are my people. That's what he's saying. Yeah. Oh, he's probably going to ask for that. They go, no, he's not going to want it anymore. Over there is no cigarettes. Oh, I don't know. I haven't been, so I have no idea. But at least he's going to say, hey, those are my people. They're talking. So it's so great. So anyway, today we have a wonderful meal. It's prepared by Sister Alice. So I'm going to go in salad, and we have sodas and everything too. May the Lord bless you. Let's pray about the food. Lord, bless us today. Bless the family of Alice. Bless her brother and his family. Bless the food we're about to receive, Lord. Let it be nourishing for us, Lord. Lord, may you just bless every family who's hungry out there. And anyone who's out there that needs to come and eat, Lord, please bring them to us. In Jesus' name, amen.